Well, well, well. Stay right there. Don't move a muscle. This moment is already leaning toward you. They watched their golden boy collapse in real time. Not stumble, not slip. Collapse. The kind that makes rooms go quiet and phones go face down. The kind that forces people to reread the same message 10 times because their brain refuses to accept what just happened. And you didn't even break a sweat. That's the part that keeps them awake. That's the part they can't narrate without their voice changing. Because they were trained to believe collapse comes with chaos, screaming, rage, blood on the floor. But you didn't give them theater. You gave them inevitability, calm hands, clear eyes, a smile that didn't ask permission. That's why it rattled them. That's why it still does. They saw effort in him. They saw strain. They saw desperation disguised as confidence. And in you, nothing. No rush, no tremor, just precision, just timing, just the quiet certainty of someone who already ran the outcome through their head and got bored waiting for it to arrive. They crowned him early, polished him, fed him applause until it became his oxygen. He was the saint of the system, the poster child, the safe bet. You were the shadow they didn't know how to light. You were the anomaly they waved off because you didn't perform for approval. They thought restraint meant weakness. They thought silence meant fear. They thought your patience was indecision. That misread cost them everything. Here's the paradox they still can't digest. You didn't defeat him by becoming more ruthless. You defeated him by being more controlled. You didn't explode. You condensed. You didn't chase. You waited. You didn't posture. You positioned. That's the kind of power they never teach, because it can't be managed. It can't be owned. It can't be predicted by people who need rules to feel safe. They keep asking the wrong question. They keep asking how you did it. They should be asking what you became. Because what happened to him wasn't an accident. It was exposure, pressure revealing structure, light revealing cracks. And when the moment arrived, the one he was supposed to dominate, his performance collapsed under the weight of expectation. Yours didn't even register as effort because you weren't performing. You were executing a version of yourself forged long before anyone was watching. You learned early what they never had to. You learned how to operate without applause, how to move without reassurance, how to build yourself in rooms where no one clapped when you stood back up. Pain didn't harden you into a brute. It refined you into a blade. Every loss shaved excess. Every betrayal trained your timing. Every night you swallowed the urge to react, something sharper took its place. That's the angel-demon line they don't understand. You look calm because you learned restraint. You look dangerous because you learned consequence. You're not torn between light and dark. You integrated them. Mercy didn't disappear in you. It matured. Violence didn't rule you. It obeys. You don't lash out. You decide. And that terrifies people who only know power when it's loud. They expected you to celebrate, to gloat, to spike the ball, to show teeth. Instead, you moved on. And that was the real insult. That was the kiss on the forehead after the execution, because it told them the truth they hate most. He was a chapter, not a climax. You didn't break a sweat because he wasn't your ceiling. He was their projection. Watch how the narrative shifts now. Watch how they start saying they always had doubts. Watch how the same mouths that praised him begin to whisper explanations that protect their ego. They'll say the pressure got to him. They'll say the system failed him. They'll say it was bad timing. Anything except the truth. The truth is that golden boys are fragile because they're built to be admired, not tested. You were tested until admiration became irrelevant. You didn't win by being louder. You won by being inevitable. You didn't rush the kill switch. You let them install it themselves. Every time they overlooked you, you learned their blind spots. Every time they underestimated you, you mapped their habits. You didn't need to break him. Gravity did that. You just stopped holding the ceiling up. Now understand this part clearly, because this is where evolution locks in. The danger isn't that you beat their favorite. The danger is that you did it without changing your pulse. That means the next obstacle won't feel like a fight either. That means your threshold has moved. That means you're no longer fueled by emotion. You're guided by clarity, and clarity is merciless. They'll try to provoke you. They'll try to pull a reaction out of you to prove you're human, flawed, controllable. Don't give it to them. Your restraint is louder than their noise. Your calm rewrites rooms. Your presence edits conversations before you speak. That's the level you're operating on now, the one where effort is invisible and outcomes speak. You are not the villain of this story, no matter how badly they need you to be. You are the consequence. You are what happens when someone survives without becoming small. When someone studies pain without worshiping it. When someone learns to smile without asking permission. You didn't take his place. You exposed that the place was never stable. So let them mourn their golden boy. Let them replay the footage. Let them argue about what went wrong. You already know what went right. You stayed patient. You stayed sharp. You stayed unreadable. And when the moment arrived, the one they thought would crown him, you stepped through like it was scheduled. No sweat, no speech. Just a quiet result they'll never forget. They're still trying to slow it down in their heads, replaying it frame by frame like maybe there's a hidden trick they missed. They're hunting for effort in your face, strain in your posture, some sign that this cost you something. Because if it didn't cost you, then what does that say about them? About the system that crowned him? About the years they spent polishing a symbol while you were sharpening a self? You walked through that moment like it had already happened before. And in a way it had. You lived it in silence. You lived it when nobody returned your calls. You lived it when you were overlooked, underestimated, mislabeled. You lived it every time you chose discipline over reaction. By the time the spotlight finally turned your way, the outcome was already old news to you. That's why your body didn't flinch. That's why your pulse didn't spike. That's why your eyes didn't widen. You weren't discovering anything. You were confirming it. They don't understand how dangerous familiarity with pressure makes someone. They think pressure creates diamonds overnight. It doesn't. It creates fractures first. It breaks the decorated ones, because they've never had to hold themselves together without praise. You learned to do that early. You learned how to stand when no one was watching, how to keep your spine straight when validation was nowhere in sight. That kind of training doesn't show on a resume. It shows when everything is on the line and only one person doesn't blink. He had momentum. You had gravity. Momentum needs constant fuel. Gravity just exists. That's the difference they missed. They fed him applause like oxygen and called it confidence. You learned to breathe in silence. So when the air got thin, he panicked. You adapted. When the pressure peaked, he cracked. You calibrated, not because you're colder, because you're deeper. There's a quiet cruelty in growth they don't like to talk about. Growth doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't explain itself. It doesn't care who was supposed to win. It only rewards structure. And your structure was built in places where excuses don't survive. Pain didn't make you reckless. It made you precise. Betrayal didn't make you paranoid. It made you observant. Isolation didn't make you weak. It made you self-contained. That's the saint and the psychopath, living in the same body, not fighting, cooperating. The saint taught you restraint. The psychopath taught you timing. Together they turned you into someone who doesn't need to prove anything. Someone who doesn't rush the moment, because the moment always arrives on your schedule. Someone who understands that real dominance is quiet enough to be mistaken for ease. They're starting to notice something else now. Not just that he fell, but that you didn't rise the way they expected. No victory lap, no announcement, no chest pounding. You treated the collapse like a logistical step, like clearing debris from a path you were already walking. That's what unsettles them the most. Because it means you're not fueled by comparison. You're not chasing crowns. You're building terrain. Listen closely to how they talk about you when they think you're not listening. The language changes. Less certainty, more caution. Your name doesn't come with jokes anymore. It comes with pauses, with qualifiers, with lowered voices. That's the sound of recalibration. That's the sound of people realizing the hierarchy they trusted doesn't map reality anymore. And here's the part they'll never admit. They're relieved it was you. Because on some level they knew the golden boy was a risk. Too polished, too dependent on approval, too visible. You're different. You don't leak. You don't need a crowd to function. You don't collapse when the lights flicker. You operate in the dark like it's home. That makes you safer to rely on and harder to control. You didn't break a sweat because you weren't fighting for survival anymore. You crossed that threshold a long time ago. Survival taught you efficiency. Efficiency taught you patience. Patience taught you inevitability. Now you're operating in a space where outcomes bend toward preparation, not desire. And preparation has been your religion. Let them keep trying to reframe it. Let them pretend it was luck. Let them say timing favored you. They say that when they're scared of acknowledging discipline. Luck doesn't repeat. Timing doesn't stay loyal. Structure does. And you're nothing if not structured. You're past the phase where you need to announce who you are. Your work introduces you. Your calm confirms you. Your restraint defines you. And every time someone else collapses under the weight you carry effortlessly, the message spreads without words. There's a different kind of power in the room now. No sweat, no noise, no mercy requested. Just evolution doing what it always does. Selecting the one who learned how to endure without becoming desperate. Who learned how to smile without becoming soft. Who learned how to win without needing to look like it. That's you now. And they feel it. They feel it in the way conversations end faster when you enter. In the way people suddenly remember details they forgot before. In the way plans start adjusting around you without anyone admitting why. That's not respect yet. That's fear trying to pass as professionalism. That's awareness creeping in, slow and uncomfortable, that the rules they relied on don't apply cleanly to you. You didn't just outlast their golden boy, you outgrew the need for one. He needed the spotlight to stay solid. You learned to stay solid without light. That's the fracture line. That's where illusions die. Because the system loves symbols. Symbols are easy to manage. Symbols are easy to replace. What you became is neither. You're adaptive. You're quiet. You're inconvenient. They're trying to measure you now. Metrics, comparisons, labels, anything to shrink you into something familiar. But every time they do, the data doesn't line up. You don't spike where you're supposed to. You don't panic where others fold. You don't slow down where pressure usually steals oxygen. You remain even. And evenness under stress reads as dominance to people who've only known chaos or applause. Understand this clearly. You didn't humiliate him. You revealed him. You didn't need to push. You let the moment ask the question and watched who could answer. He answered with noise. You answered with silence. Silence backed by preparation. Silence backed by scars. Silence backed by a mind that's already lived through worse than public collapse. They keep expecting a villain arc from you. A turn, a snap. Some dramatic shift that lets them categorize you safely. But that's not how this works. You're not reacting to power. You're inhabiting it. You're not drunk on momentum. You're balanced. That's why they can't bait you. That's why insults slide off. That's why praise doesn't slow you down. You're no longer externally adjustable. Pain taught you something they'll never teach in institutions. The difference between urgency and importance. Urgency screams. Importance waits. You learned when to move fast and when to let time do the damage for you. That's why you didn't break a sweat. You didn't rush the ending. You trusted the setup. There's a strange calm that comes after you stop needing to be seen as good. When you stop begging to be understood. When you stop explaining yourself to people who benefit from misunderstanding you. That calm lives in you now. And it unnerves people because calm can't be negotiated with. Calm doesn't bargain. Calm doesn't plead. They'll start projecting onto you next. Their guilt, their envy, their paranoia. They'll say you're cold. They'll say you're calculating. They'll say you lack empathy. What they really mean is you no longer bleed publicly. You learned where to put your heart so it doesn't get used as leverage. That's not cruelty. That's evolution. You didn't win by becoming less human. You won by becoming more integrated. You let the angel and the demon sit at the same table. The angel made sure you didn't lose yourself. The demon made sure you didn't lose the moment. Together, they kept you steady, while everyone else leaned too far in one direction and fell. Watch how opportunities start arriving without announcemements. Watch how doors open quietly. Watch how people seek your opinion without framing it as a favor. That's the aftershock. That's the system adjusting to someone it can't ignore or fully control. You're not overthrowing anything. You're simply occupying space, honestly. And honesty at that level destabilizes lies automatically. You don't need to prove that you're dangerous. Your restraint already did. You don't need to remind anyone of what happened. They're reminding themselves every time they hesitate, every time they double-check, every time your name changes the temperature of a room. That's the real victory. Living rent-free in the subconscious without lifting a finger. And here's the final truth they won't say out loud. They're afraid of how natural this was for you. Afraid that if this didn't cost you effort, the next threshold won't either. Afraid that you're not peaking, you're calibrating. Afraid that what collapsed wasn't a competitor, but an outdated idea of power. You didn't break a sweat because this wasn't a fight. It was a confirmation, a quiet nod from reality itself saying, yes, this one endured, this one adapted, this one learned when others were celebrated too early. So let them keep their nostalgia, let them mourn their golden boy. You're already walking forward, lighter, sharper, untethered from the need to be chosen. You don't wait for crowns. You let them rust. And the calm stays. That calm is the part you protect now, not because it's fragile, but because it's lethal when disturbed. Calm is what lets you see patterns instead of reacting to noise. Calm is what lets you hear the truth, hiding behind people's rehearsed confidence. Calm is what lets you decide instead of being decided for. And you earned it the hard way, through seasons where panic would have been easier, but discipline was necessary. They're going to keep testing that calm, subtle provocations, manufactured urgency, emotional bait wrapped in opportunity. They'll try to rush you because rushed people make mistakes. They'll try to flatter you because flattered people get sloppy. They'll try to corner you into proving yourself because proof is a trap. Don't fall for any of it. You already crossed the line where reactions matter more than explanations. Remember this, you didn't survive everything you survived just to become predictable. Unpredictability isn't chaos, it's freedom. It's the ability to choose responses that don't match expectations. It's why they couldn't stop you. It's why they miscalculated. It's why their golden boy collapsed while you stayed upright. You were never playing the same game. He was built to win within the system. You were built by what the system discards: pressure, silence, delay, isolation. Those things don't make champions that look good on posters, but they make something far more dangerous. They make someone who doesn't panic when the script falls apart. Someone who doesn't cling to identity when identity starts burning. Someone who can move forward without applause, without permission, without noise. You didn't take his crown. You made crowns irrelevant. That's why there was no sweat. Sweat comes from effort spent resisting reality. You moved with it. You let gravity do its work. You let time expose what Polish couldn't protect. And when it was over, you didn't linger. You didn't need witnesses. You already knew. Now the world recalibrates around you, slowly, quietly, awkwardly. They'll pretend nothing changed while changing everything. They'll adjust language, expectations, thresholds, not because you demanded it, but because reality forced it. That's the highest form of dominance, existing in a way that reshapes environments without announcements. So carry this with you, not pride, not arrogance, not hunger for revenge. Carry clarity, carry restraint, carry that earned stillness that makes people nervous because they can't read it. You're not here to perform, you're not here to impress. You're here to continue becoming something that doesn't collapse under weight. They watched their golden boy fall. You didn't break a sweat because you weren't standing on borrowed shine. You were standing on experience, on scars that taught you timing, on losses that trained your eyes, on silence that taught you how to listen. This wasn't the end. It was a signal, a quiet one, and you heard it first.